Government of Japan through the Japan International Cooperation Agency. Signing the loan agreement on behalf of the Philippine government is Finance Secretary Carlos G. Dominguez, and signing on behalf of JICA is Chief Representative Yoshio Wada. We would also like to acknowledge the presence of Secretary Benjamin Jokno of the Department of Budget and Management, OIC Undersecretary Timothy John Batan of the Department of Transportation, Executive Director Emilio Fernandez of the Department of Foreign Affairs, outgoing Chief Representative Susumu Ito of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, and Mr. Noboru Kageyama, Financial Attaché from the Embassy of Japan. Without further ado, let us proceed with the signing of the loan agreement for the first tranche loan for the Metro Manila Subway Project Phase 1. May we please request Secretary Dominguez and Chief Representative Wada to sign both copies of the loan agreement. The first phase of the Metro Manila Subway Project is the first subway in the Philippines, which involves the construction of about 30-kilometer underground railroad, with 14 to 16 stations from Quezon City to Naiya. The project is expected to be completed in 2025. However, partial operation of the first 3 stations will be in 2022. The loan agreement for the Metro Manila Subway Project, Phase 1, amounting to 104.53 billion Japanese yen, represents the first tranche of the total loan requirements for the project. It carries an interest rate of 0.10% per annum for non-consulting services and 0.01% per annum for consulting services, to be repaid within 40 years with a 12-year grace period. The total loan financing requirements, estimated at 259.6 billion pesos, the biggest loan ever committed by JICA to any country, is proposed to be covered under a time-sliced loan arrangement composed of 3 to 4 tranches. May we now request Secretary Dominguez and Chief Representative Wada to stand up and formally exchange their copy of the loan agreement. Let's give them a big round of applause. May we invite Finance Secretary Dominguez to deliver a short message.
Secretary Ben Jokno, Undersecretary Timothy Batan, Japan International Cooperation Agency Chief Representative Yoshio Wada, Finance Attaché Noboru Kageyama, and of course our outgoing head of JICA, who has really did all the heavy lifting for this project, Mr. Susumu Ito. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank the Japan International Cooperation Agency for its support in making this subway project a reality. This project, which is the Phase 1 of the Metro Manila Subway Project, is so far the biggest single project under the Build, Build, Build program of President Duterte. For the first phase, calculate a total project cost of 356.96 billion pesos, US dollars 7.05 billion. This phase, covering the central zone, involves the construction of about 30 kilometers of underground railway with 14 stations, with the possible extension of 1 to 2 more stations being planned by the DOTR from Mindanao Avenue to the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. The first tranche of the loan agreement for this project amounts to 104.530 billion yen, or about 935 million US dollars. It carries an interest rate of 0.1% per annum for non-consulting services and 0.01% per annum for consulting services, to be repaid within 40 years, inclusive of a 12-year grace period. The project includes a depot in Valenzuela, electromechanical systems, and rolling stock, and the establishment of a Philippine Railway Institute. The institute will provide training as well as do research and development on the regulation, train operation, and maintenance. This will build a core of expert trained personnel to manage not only the subway system, but all the commuter lines of the country. It is about time that our commuter lines be run by real experts. The subway system has been part of the joint NEDA-JICA roadmap for transport infrastructure development of Metro Manila and its surrounding areas. Because of its costs, we consider this component of the infrastructure plan a dream. With the generous support of Japan and the fiscal space we enjoy thanks to the tax reform program, also called TRAIN, what was once considered a dream has now become a reality. The detailed engineering design for the subway, which is being funded under a JICA grant, is currently ongoing. The design includes flood management features and applies the best seismic technology there is. We will acquire tunnel boring equipment to hasten the construction period. The Philippine government commits to working on this project 25/8 to get it done at the soonest possible time. Remember that, not 24/7. In line with the fast and sure approach of the Philippine government processed the loan approvals for this project within 6 months only from the NEDA board approval on September 12, 2017, up to the signing of the loan agreement today. We are targeting May 22 to begin operation of the first 3 of the subway stations, Mindanao Avenue, Quirino Highway, and Tandangsora, and North Avenue. The entire central zone will be operational by 2025, including the commercial space for the subway stations that will help defray the cost of operating this facility. The plan for the subway line envisions a north zone that will extend to Bulacan and a south zone that will extend to Cavite. I am confident that the succeeding administrations will get this done. The timely completion of the subway project will crown the aggressive infrastructure program the administration of President Rodrigo Duterte has initiated. It will likewise crown the achievement of the economic diplomacy that President Duterte has undertaken. Thank you very much. I will see you all at the inauguration of the nation's first subway station. The date to be provided by Mr. Ito, because he will be here also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary Dominguez. We now call on JICA Chief Representative Boada to share a few words.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for Secretary Carlos Dominguez and Secretary Benjamin Giacono and Undersecretary of Timothy Department. And it's really my pleasure to join this signing ceremony as a first job, first task when I arrived here, because I arrived yesterday. And it's really a pleasure to join today for the signing the Metro Manila Subway project. Phase 1. I also feel really honored that this undertaking is the first activity I'm joining at the beginning in my work as a JICA Chief Representative. I'd like to commend our partners for this project for focusing on this important transport infrastructure that can lay the basis for the competitive Philippine economy. The subway project is a really major development in the Philippine railway sector. We have been assisting Philippine railway sector for very long time, but it is really a game-changing initiative in many ways. First, together with the North-South Commuter Railway project, it constitutes the North-South corridor to support the seamless mobility of goods and people in Mega Manila and surrounding areas as envisioned in the roadmap for transport infrastructure development for Metro Manila and its surrounding areas. The project will significantly cut travel time from Mindanao Avenue, Quezon City, to FTI and further to Ninoy Aquino International Airport from nearly 1.5 hours to only just 30 minutes. You can see that video with predictability of travel time. Second, the subway project is the first modern underground mass transit system in the Philippines. JICA is pleased to share with the Philippines with the Japanese extensive experience in transport infrastructure and very advanced railway technologies. It's very sophisticated and advanced, such as same-system design and safe and comfortable loading stocks. May this project therefore open up opportunities for Japanese and Filipino companies to work together and learn from each other's best practices in construction of transport networks. It truly symbolizes JICA's trusted partnership with the Philippines and our support to the Build program of the present administration. Thus, I'd like to thank the Office Secretary Dominguez for your efforts in accelerating implementation of the project. Likewise, we'd like to thank the DOTR Secretary Tugade for working with JICA to realize this project. There may be challenges ahead, but by working together, we can certainly tackle issues along the way. They say, we move quickly, but together we move further. We're proud to be part of this historic endeavor of the Philippine government, expanding the country's railway network for sustained economic development. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Chief Representative Wada. May we now invite Transportation OIC Undersecretary Batan to say a few remarks.
Good afternoon. The Metro Manila Subway project is one of the Duterte administration's boldest response to the traffic crisis that affects the 26 million residents of our nation's capital on a day-to-day basis. But before going further on this project, I would just like to note that today, the DOTR is not just achieving a milestone in our all-out effort in solving the land-based traffic problem of Metro Manila. The DOTR is also concurrently achieving a milestone in our aviation and maritime sectors with the inauguration of the expanded passenger terminal building of the Tacloban Airport and the launching of bulk ship number SC-280 by Tsunishi Heavy Industries in Cebu, led by our indefatigable DOTR Secretary Arthur Tugade. This, ladies and gentlemen, shows the Duterte administration's strategy under the Build, Build, Build program of not just investing in our nation's capital, but of spreading government infrastructure investment to our regions in order to deliver a more inclusive development for our people. Now going back to the subway, the signing today of the first tranche of the Japan ODA loan for the Metro Manila subway project is the product of our partnership, not just with Japan, but also of our partnership with our peer agencies in the Build, Build, Build program. Hence, I would like to take this opportunity to extend the DOTR's gratitude to the continuing support and very hard work of our friends from JICA, led by outgoing Chief Representative Susumu Ito, and our incoming Chief Representative Yoshio Awada, our representative from the Japanese Embassy, Noburo Kageyama, and of course, DOF's Secretary Dominguez, DBM Secretary Jokno, and our friends and our fellow public servants from the DOF, from DBM, NEDA, DPWH, and the BCDA. The subway project is a transport project, but the Department of Transportation cannot do it alone. Previously thought by many to be impossible, to be a dream, today's milestone in realizing the Philippines' first subway project is a testament to the adage that bold problems require bold solutions, and those bold solutions require bold and visionary leaders to deliver. And that boldness of vision, that boldness of leadership in implementation is what we will continue to drive, what will continue to drive us as we deliver, ladies and gentlemen, the Duterte administration's Build, Build, Build program, and as we realize the Philippines' golden age of infrastructure. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, OIC Undersecretary Batan. That ends the signing ceremony of the loan agreement. We would like to thank the officials of the both Philippine and Japanese governments for gracing this occasion. Thank you everyone for coming. Maraming salamat.
Yeah, I can answer some questions. Ben Jokno can also answer.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
I'm not really certain what the schedule is, but you know what we did today is just sign the first $1 billion section, a part of the loan. It's actually a little less than $1 billion. I guess the subsequent signing will depend on how fast we implement the first project and how quickly we can get it operational. Any other questions? Oh, yes?
Just to clarify, Secretary, does the loan agreement that's signed today, does it mean that it starts the whole 30-kilometer subway or just certain stations?
No. It will start the first section of the project. This will cover, I think, the first 3 stations of the project, and depends, as I said, depends on how quickly we can move ahead that we sign the subsequent sections. This is very exciting for us because, you know, as Secretary Jokno said, this is really going to be a game changer This is putting us firmly in the 21st century, and especially with the technology that we are going to be adopting here. Probably will help us move forward in even inviting other countries to train here for the for the railway management program.
Sir, based on the agreement signed in Japan in October, the commitments for this loan and also for the Plaridel, the arterial road were already signed.
Yes.
What will be the next projects that will be up for, that the JICA will be providing some loans for?
Well, we are still in the process of prioritizing the projects. Not all are ready for the signing stage, but definitely there will be other projects down the line, including the commuter rail from Clark to Manila, and then from Manila to the Calamba. Los Baños ba or Calamba? Los Baños.
Sir, another question, maybe for the Department of Transportation, because for most of the subway systems, we see that they're developed. There's also a commercial aspect, like you find malls
Yes.
near the stations. Will eventually will you be leasing space in those?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, we are planning to have retail spaces, just like in Japan. In fact, I'll tell you, the best ramen is there near the train, in the main train station in the Marunouchi area. But Tokyo Station. Yeah, and definitely we will be utilizing that. So we are going to be putting value to the underground area in Manila, and the revenues will definitely contribute to paying off this loan. Although I must say the loan is really almost too good to believe, because it's 40 years with a 12-year grace. Something that this is a very generous package from the JICA.
Secretary Chino Leico, Manila Bulletin. You mentioned before that you plan to put the stops beneath the sub-government. You plan to put the subway stops beneath some government properties or government agencies. Have you identified?
Well, I have to ask Mr. Batan, because I don't know exactly where the stations are. But definitely, the government has a lot of property in the northern part of Manila. I know our BIR is there, SSS is there. We have the hospital, the Viluna Hospital. And then as you come south, you have the military bases. So definitely, I hope that part of that, what did you explain, where the stations will be?
Instructions of Secretary Tugade when we were finalizing the location of the subway project is to bring the stations as close as possible, if not on government property. Now, this is in connection with a strategy that we have been following of trying to capture value from this investment. So we are going to invest a lot of money in building the project, and making that investment will create value as a consequence. And as much as possible, we've selected station locations that would maximize the return of that value to the government coffers. So just to give some prime examples of the stations that have benefited from this approach, one would be the North Avenue station, which will be contiguous the Veterans Memorial Medical Center. Our Katipunan station is going to be on Camp Aguinaldo property. Our BGC, one of our BGC stations will be beside BCDA properties. And we are also building a station nearby the Air Force Field in NAIA, in Villamor Airfield. So these are some of the government assets that we have consciously and deliberately brought our stations near to.
And Secretary, we know that in past, in several government projects, the cause of delay usually is the right of way. Have you started the process to acquire?
One of the advantages of the subway technology in building railways is that most of our required right-of-way are subterranean. So it shouldn't be as big a challenge as with at-grade or elevated railway systems. But of course, that is not to say that there are still some parcels of land that we need to buy, especially for our station locations. As early as November of 2017, we have already started identifying the parcels that we need to acquire. And in fact, for our first segment in the first 3 stations, in first week of February, we have already issued our notices of taking. So the acquisition process is in full swing. We have committed to substantially deliver the right-of-way for the first 3 stations and the depot in the 3rd quarter of this year. And as of this day, we are on track with that program of delivering right-of-way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That ends our press conference.